Hello, I'm Esther Githu. Welcome to Africa 54. Here's what's coming up. U.S. presidential nominees Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Kamala Harris prepare for their first debate on September 10th. Zambia's Great North Road in the Chibombo District is considered one of the country's most dangerous highways. And an African education strategy could change the narrative of youth unemployment in developing countries. All this and much more coming up on today's Africa 54. With just over 2 months to go before Election Day in the United States, presidential nominees Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are preparing for their first debate and campaigning on the economy. VOA Scott Stearns has this look at the state of the race.
Donald Trump is campaigning hard on the economy and on Kamala Harris.
Here's what we know about Comrade Kamala Harris. She just doesn't care about the American people, especially hardworking people or middle-class Americans. She just doesn't give a damn about you.
The Harris campaign says it's Trump who'll hurt working families with tax cuts for corporations.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators.
The economy is voters' top issue in this election. That's a problem Harris needs to fix quickly, says political consultant Hank Scheinkopf.
She's got to explain why people are paying what they think is more at the gas pump and why their bread costs as much as it does and why the manufacturers of those products are giving them less for their dollar.
Trump running mate J.D. Vance says voting for Harris means losing more U.S. jobs.
Think of all the powerful interests, the broken bureaucracy in this country, the people who've gotten rich shipping your jobs to China. They want Kamala Harris. The only way to beat him and the only way to fight back is at the ballot box this November.
Harris's running mate Tim Walz says it's Democrats who are committed to U.S. workers.
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they have something a little different in mind. The only thing these guys know about working people is how to take advantage of them, how to not pay them. Every single chance they've gotten, they've waged a war on workers and the ability to collectively bargain.
With just over 2 months to go, this is a close race. Most public opinion polls show Harris with a slight lead over Trump nationally. Michigan voter David Martinez backs Trump.
He's a true American patriot. I think that he thinks more about people that live in this country than he does himself. Everything that he does is to try to help somebody.
Georgia voter Becca Rush backs Harris.
You know, it's 2024 and we need some fresh blood. And we need a new brighter future.
While continuing to campaign, Trump and Harris will spend much of the next week preparing for their first presidential debate next Tuesday. Scott Stearns, VOA News.
Peace continues to elude Gaza as the war between Israel and Hamas heads toward the one-year mark. Public outrage over the recent killing of hostages is at a fever pitch. Meanwhile, fears over the spread of polio grips Gaza. And amid all this, there's the ongoing delicate negotiations for a ceasefire led by Washington. VOA's Anita Powell reports from the White House.
First, a small sliver of hope from Gaza after weeks of misery. 2 days of a UN-led polio vaccination campaign has reached 1/4 of the exclave's vulnerable children. But humanitarian officials say this humanitarian pause is not enough.
I think to make a real movement, a real progress on all of that, you need, of course, a ceasefire, and you need to have a start in proper peace process and moving forward.
And that's where we find ourselves as this conflict comes close to the one-year mark, with no sign of peace and with the flames of anger raging. Anger on all sides, from Israeli protesters who say their government failed to rescue 6 hostages before Hamas killed them, and is failing to do enough to help the remaining captives. Rage from Palestinians furious over the continued pace of violence that has torn Gaza apart. And what looks like exasperation coming from U.S. President Joe Biden, who spent weeks out of the public eye overseeing negotiations to end the conflict. The White House says it hopes to close on a deal soon, but Biden hinted at an obstacle recently.
And do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
At the White House on Tuesday, administration officials say they are still working with the various parties in Egypt and Qatar to reach a deal that spokesman John Kirby said has 3 elements, though he declined to give specifics of the American plan.
We're working on a proposal that will secure the release of the remaining hostages and will include massive and immediate relief for the people of Gaza and also result in a stoppage of the fighting.
Analysts say intransigence burns on several sides. Hamas fears a deal that will sideline its status in the Palestinian territories, and Israel seeks to maintain control over parts of Gaza. But there's another player in this drama who stands to lose if a deal craters: Washington.
If we cannot negotiate, if we cannot bring pressure to bear on our friends, on our allies, for their own good, let alone for the good of the region and for everyone's good, then I'm not sure why anyone would perceive that our involvement down the line would be particularly valuable.
And what of the people born into the middle of all of this? Peace is something they have never known. Anita Powell, VOA News, the White House.
Uganda's main opposition leader, Bobi Wine, who has emerged as the most formidable opponent of veteran President Yoweri Museveni, was shot and allegedly seriously wounded by security agents in a northern suburb of Kampala on Tuesday, according to his party. It is unclear whether he was hit by a live bullet or a tear gas canister. Wine, a pop star turned politician whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, finished second in the 2021 presidential election behind Museveni, who has ruled the East African country for nearly 4 decades. Wine's party, the National Unity Platform, said in a post on X that, quote, security operatives have made an attempt on his life.
I was born free, and I'm free, only that I'm everywhere in chains. As you saw, while the court ordered the police to vacate our premises, we still have police and military helicopters hovering over us. That does not stop us. We are not going to let them to identify us as unfree. We are free, and anything that is trying to take away our freedom will be resisted.
The police say officers had attempted to block Wine and his team from marching down a road, resulting in an altercation where he sustained injuries. An investigation is being conducted to clarify the facts, according to the police. Ugandan reporter Mugume David spoke to some Kampala residents who commented on the incident in which opposition leader Robert Kyagulanyi, commonly known as Bobi Wine, was shot and wounded during a scuffle with the police.
For a big man like Bobi Wine, those are top leaders. And if it happens to him, even us, the wananchi, local people, we get worried, because if for him, he's not protected and he's shot, what about us? It means we are also not safe.
My honest opinion on these things is the situation gets worrying when we as the young generation have to live in a country where most of these things happen and they remain undisclosed. They remain undisclosed to us, the public. It's sort of a scary situation whereby a man, we have no information about what transpired, like what could have led to what happened.
What happened, actually, I wasn't happy about it. That is not how to lead the nation. We have to be careful and we have to see how to handle things. Actually, we were not happy about what has happened. They would have used another way not to shoot him. That we were not happy. We pray for him so that he recover.
For the incident that happened yesterday, I think what the police should have done is the police should have given more protection to such a leader like Bobi Wine, who was an aspiring presidential candidate at one point, one person whom most of the oppositions follow so much, a president of the opposition, let me say. I'm not so much of a politician, but I think to avoid or avert such issues like where we have riots, where we have chaos in the country, I think when such incidents happen, The police should come out clearly to the public, explain to them what happened.
Ugandan reporter Mugume Davis speaking to some Kampala residents who commented on the Bobi Wine incident. Chinese President Xi Jinping held bilateral talks with his counterparts from several African countries Monday and Tuesday in Beijing. Among the leaders who met President Xi were Mamadi Doumbouya of Guinea, Chad's Mahamat Idris Deby, Malawi's Lazarus Chakwera, Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea, Kenya's William Ruto, and Emerson Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe. The African leaders are in China for the 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. The summit opened Wednesday and runs through Friday. During the summit, China is urging 50 African nations to take more of its goods in exchange for more pledges of loans and investment. The talks come as China faces Western curbs on exports such as electric vehicles and solar panels. Zambia's 2024 quarterly police report states that the country has witnessed a significant rise in road traffic accidents in the first quarter of 2024 compared to the first quarter of 2023. The Great North Road in Chibombo District is considered one of the country's most dangerous roads. VOA's Mo Kasibuku reports from Lusaka, Zambia.
The rise in road accidents is causing concern over road safety in Zambia. This is John Chinena Market in Chibombo District along the Great North Road, considered one of the most dangerous roads in the country. This is the place where a tragic road accident took place in February 2013 when a 74-seater bus operated by the government-run Postal Bus Services collided with a truck, killing more than 53 people. Now residents of the area are appealing to the government to improve the roads by providing road humps and zebra crossings and reducing the speed limit in the area. Annie Pande calls on authorities to address the current state of the road. She says the government should improve the roads and put up large speed humps.
We want the government to look into our issue, improve our roads, and put up large speed humps.
And Fines Kapata, former area councillor for Chibombo, highlighted the need to regulate the speed of motorists using the road.
We need some signposts put across. Maybe 60 kilometers per hour, they drive slowly, so that we pave way for those people that are crossing.
The first quarter of 2024 alone has recorded over 8,000 traffic accidents, over 400 of which were fatal, according to the Zambia Police 2024 quarterly report. Karen Ngoma is a road traffic accident survivor.
We were in the highway, right? And then there's this car that was joining in. Then it hit us. My arm was broken into four. I can't use my arm to full capacity. I'm limited. I think speed also is something that needs to be looked into. I think that also is contributing to these accidents.
The Road Transport and Safety Agency has observed that the Great North Road records at least one road accident per day, says Mukela Mangolwa, the acting head of public relations.
The most problematic road is the Great North Road, which is mostly used by the trucks. Also there, it's another stretch where, like, on a daily basis, we record a road crash. The Chibombo area also is as a result of the state of the road.
In May, President Hakainde Hichilema launched the construction of the Lusaka-Ndola Dual Carriageway project, which passes through Chibombo District. This project also aims to encourage trade and improve road safety, says Albert Malama, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
We needed to have a serious and quick intervention to help deal with the problem of accidents. And the project has already started, as you can see. They are doing it in stretches. The hope is that this will be done quicker than the 3 years that we agreed with them.
Authorities hope road accidents will significantly reduce once the project on the Great North Road is complete. Mokasibuku, VOA Africa, Lusaka, Zambia.
Still to come, Ghanaian women launch a technical skills training center. We'll have more news in a few moments.
On the next Straight Talk Africa, an old virus now has a new strain that has spread worldwide and is now a global health emergency. Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, spread from the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2022. The virus is changing faster than expected, and many countries across Africa do not have the tools to fight it. Join me, Vincent McCory, for an in-depth conversation on fighting Mpox on the next Straight Talk Africa.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
In other news, Botswana, Africa's longest democracy, is set to hold its general election on October 30th. President Mokgweetsi Masisi is seeking a second and final term after his ruling party endorsed his candidacy. So far, the Independent Electoral Commission has only registered 63% of the eligible voters. Masisi declared October 30th and 31st as public holidays to encourage citizens to vote. Masisi's ruling Botswana Democratic Party has been in power since independence from Britain in 1966. Climate change is forcing Kenya's Maasai pastoralists to consider eating fish, something very different from their normal staple diet of milk and cattle meat. A recent years-long drought in Kenya killed millions of livestock. Maasai elders are hoping the troubles are temporary and they will be able to resume more traditional eating habits. Fish were long viewed as part of the snake family due to their shape and thus inedible. Their smell had been unpleasant and odd to the Maasai community. And Libyan authorities say a boat carrying Europe-bound migrants has capsized off the Libyan coast, killing one person and leaving 22 missing. The Coast Guard in the eastern town of Tobruk says the boat was carrying 32 migrants and that 9 have been rescued. Survivors are being taken to a port in Tobruk, according to the Coast Guard. The shipwreck is the latest sea tragedy of the North African nation, which has in recent years emerged as the dominant transit point for migrants fleeing war and poverty in Africa and the Middle East. Ruth Chirwa is transforming the fashion industry in Malawi and other developing countries, winning awards and gaining international recognition for her designs. Chirwa's fashion line, the Upia collection, is hosting a fashion show that aims to break down barriers between people with disabilities and those without. Lamek Masina reports from Zuzu City in northern Malawi.
Ruth Chirwa's entry into the fashion industry was not planned.
I never thought about fashion designing. I never thought that I'll be a fashion designer. Growing up, all I thought was I would do business management.
But that changed when a lecturer suggested she switched to fashion design because of the stylish outfits she wore to class. Now, 3 years into her career, Chirwa has received praise for her designs and started a fashion brand, Upi Collection, based in Zuzu, Malawi.
I remember in 2022, I managed to win an award for Focus on Ability Short Films, first of all. I won as Best Actress on my documentary that I submitted.
She was also named the Best Female Star Fashion Designer at the 2023 Shining Stars Africa Awards. And recently, Chirwa's designs were shown in Portugal, thanks to the help of fellow Malawian designers, Lilia Afonso and Zandria. It has not always been easy for Chirwa, who recalls times when some people refused to buy clothes from her because she has a disability. But she says she has managed to curb discrimination by believing in herself and meeting her clients' expectations.
When it comes to my creations, I always want to deliver, and also it's a matter of me doing what I know best.
Celebrities and prominent fashion designers in Malawi, like Chris Ngaru, appreciate the uniqueness of her designs.
A lot of fashion designers in Malawi, they like to just stand behind making clothes with, like, for example, chitenje and stuff. But her stuff is like out of the box. It's very modern and it's a breath of fresh air.
Chirwa has also become a source of pride for her former learning institution.
Ruth has inspired many learners with disabilities here. Most people with disabilities tend to be down on themselves, but Ruth has proven that anyone can do anything.
Chirwa is preparing to host a fashion show early next month that aims to challenge societal norms and promote diversity and inclusion, especially of people with disabilities. Lamek Masina, VOA News, Zuzu, Malawi.
Rising unemployment among young people is a severe challenge for all developed or developing countries. However, a continental education strategy dubbed Agenda 2030 to 2063 that focuses on developing technical and vocational training for youth could change that narrative. VOA technology reporter Paul Ndiho has more.
Well, since our last call, things have gone really well. I believe when we spoke last year, we were at the beginning stages. Now we have fully piloted our model. We've admitted about 100 trainees through 2 of our programs, plumbing systems design and woodwork and joinery. We were able to receive grant funding from a US-based family foundation, which was very sizable and very helpful for the work that we're doing. We were able to set up all the necessary infrastructure at the campus. We now employ over 25 people, so it's been really great so far.
You seem to suggest that after we did the first interview, a lot of people reached out to you and you've been able to get some funding.
Yes, and funders, key one being our current funder, which is Unorthodox Philanthropy. It's a US-based family foundation. And we received a very sizable grant funding from them in April last year, which was about 2 months after our call. I think it gave us the stamp of credibility and support that we needed to unlock the funding. And that pretty much allowed us to do all the work that we wanted to do. Quickly, we set up all the infrastructure. Our campus is set up, has a library, it has an IT facility, it has a very well-equipped workshops for plumbing and woodwork. And we were able to admit trainees in there. We had a lot of people who were already doing formal work. So think an HR manager, software engineer, law clerk, construction project manager, all these kinds of talents came through for our program and they're doing exceptionally well. So this was really good.
Well, on behalf of the Voice of America, I'm glad that we were able to at least have some kind of impact on your end to the extent that it helped you get some funding.
Yes, it was really helpful. Thank you to everyone working behind the scenes to make this happen.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. What are some of the other things that you've been able to do since our last call?
One, we introduced our main program, which was the Plumbing Systems Design program. Now, that program, we have 2 options. We have a 6-month program and we have an 18-month program. So we started with a 6-month program. We partnered with the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce here in Ghana, and with their support and the support of the German government, we were able to have experts come in from Germany who helped us develop our curriculum, helped us with our training model, how to deliver the practical part of our training, because our training is actually 60% practice focused. So they do a lot of hands-on work and internships with companies. So that was very helpful. And last year, we were able to introduce that program. And then this year, we did our first graduation for that program. Very wonderful location. We've received massive industry support in terms of internships, and we're still looking for more. And then we introduced our woodwork and joinery program. So that just launched in July this year. We're hoping to do other courses. We've even started doing corporate training. Organizations have reached out to us to train their employees. So we've started doing that as well. Those are not necessarily plumbing or woodwork, but some are masonry, some are in terms of corporate culture, so ethics, occupational health and safety, etc.
Are there some people who have gone through your program that are doing extremely well?
Our year couldn't have gone any better, because even some of our trainees, during the program, they get employed. Even before they graduate, they get employment opportunities. So currently we have 4 of them who a construction company reached out to us and said, hey, I'm looking for plumbers. Do you have any options for us? And then we basically said, okay, you can start with an internship. But immediately from the internship, they started paying them and are now fully employed. So we're really excited about the impact that we're doing and how we can scale this impact. And one of our key components of our training is ethics. And these guys, they did exceptionally well. They went to their work on time, wore the appropriate PPE equipment, things like that. And so at the end of their training, their apprenticeship, they actually got formal employment offer, and they rejected it because the value wasn't what they thought they deserved.
One of the reasons why I do what I do is to hear stories like this. This is very empowering in the sense that these are people that a lot of people don't even pay attention to. The fact that they're able to come and learn skills, life-changing skills, and they're able to give back to the community is really impressive. And thanks to you for giving them a platform to be able to do that.
Brooke Thompson is the founder of the Accra-based Africa Center for Technical Training. She was speaking to VOA technology reporter Paul Ndeho. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, thanks for watching.